Welcome to Central Happenings Network. I'm your host, Bellagio Sampler, and welcome to the show. I hope you guys are ready for an action-packed episode of some storytelling. But first, we have to talk about a situation. Let's lower the music. That was Magic Sword. Magic Sword. I like saying that word. Magic Sword. Legend. EP. So my Twitter account was suspended. You can look at my YouTube channel's most recent post to find out why. They said it was for spam or some other nonsense. But if you look deeper into it, and we're going to look at what some Anons from Finland posted, who we know they're watching. They got eyes on us and the channel. Let's pull this up. This is part of later's monologue. This Anon from Finland here posts this saying, screen cap this in case something happens, pick related. This is my old Twitter account that's in limbo, suspension. I appealed it. They probably won't honor the appeal. If you have a Twitter account out there, please at Twitter support and tell them to give me my channel back. Not fair. I guess I didn't pay the Twitter protection racket fee. I guess I didn't pay the Twitter mafioso fee. I guess I don't have a federal judge as my mother like Jake Morphonius. I guess I'm not Jewish like Adam Green and with a one-trick pony, one script pony. A lot of people lost their social medias today. Pastor Anderson lost his entire YouTube. E. Michael Jones lost his YouTube. Memory Hold lost his monetization today. There's something happening behind the scenes massively across the board. We exposed massive information that BBC leaked. They even sent me a DMCA copyright strike on Twitter. Didn't even know you can get that on Twitter. The same thing that happened to the president. Me and the president, same thing happened. They copyrighted this, but it's supposed to be fake. But the shills tell you it's fake. It's a work of fiction. It's a parody. Then why would BBC own the rights to it? Why would BBC care? Do they care about memes? Do they care when you use their logo for memes? No, they don't. This was an article that was meant to be posted on July 11th because all the news is fabricated except on channels like my own. We are unscripted. We are highly motivating. We break down the idols and the e-celeb worship. We expose the glow-in-the-darks and the shills and the psyops in every faction, every camp. The enemy algorithms and AI cannot pinpoint us. These are all reasons why they hate Central Happenings Network and your host, Bellagio Sampler. So I want to thank you very much. Please follow my backup channels more than ever. Today, it was my Twitter. Tomorrow, it could be the YouTube channel. We're on DLive. We're on Twitch. We're on BitChute. We're on DTube. We're on Gab. Follow me on Gab. Does anyone even use Gab? I know Black Eagle uses Gab, and he has a circle of people that use it. But I have 134 followers. I don't feel one of them, except Black Eagle, is real. I think Memory Hold follows me on Gab. I don't think he uses Gab. The whole point is this. They have wrangled us into a digital corner where we are forced to use their products. We are forced to use YouTube. We are forced to use Twitter. All these platforms share child bad stuff. The no-no digits. The very bad pizza. Twitter is a pro-pizza platform, a triple P, honored by the New World Order, honored by Podesta, Yes, my suspension is permanent. I appealed it. I doubt they're going to honor the appeal. And it's annoying and discouraging. I had 1,000 followers. We used it to tell you guys when we're going to go live. But now it's up to you to be more responsible about watching what you want to watch and inputting information that you want to input. On today's show, we are going to be discussing a story on 4chan. An alleged leaker, whistleblower, a man that doesn't have much else to lose. We are going to talk about his information that, according to 4chan itself, the stories and information posted here are artistic works of fiction and falsehood. Only a fool would take anything posted here as fact. A catchphrase and meme in itself created by the original makers of 4chan. But that is why this is such a great website for whistleblowing, for storytelling, for information that has been accurate, from WikiLeaks to the Podesta emails to Moloch worship, chicken sacrificing. It's all been confirmed real. But for the sake of tonight, we're going to go down a very mysterious and dark rabbit hole. But it all starts out with a man that is downtrodden, if this is a work of fact or fiction. What we can't ignore in the room is we are living in tough times. Tough times makes tough men, but those are only the ones that endure the tough times. I want to say that if you ever have felt suicidal, call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and speak with someone at 1-800-273-TALK. Go to a local church. There are people out there that love you, care about you, in your family, in your friends, and social media has isolated us into parasocial lives, disconnected from people and reality. And this whole story tonight starts with a man who is feeling those very things. So I want to start out by saying that if you are feeling this, please, I love you. People out there love you. You can get some help. People are ready to talk to you. 1-800-273-TALK. Now, that being said, we are living in extremely amazing times where companies can just disconnect you, turn off your accounts, turn off your banks, turn off your social medias, disappear you. And that being said, I already said this on the show many times. I myself am not suicidal. I don't believe in that. It's not in my concept or framework of spirituality, my belief in God and Christianity. Before any glow-in-the-darks get any ideas, or Jack himself, the Satanist of Twitter. But that being said, we're going to get some spooky music on. You guys are going to let me know if the volume is good. I want this to be background music just like it was a video. This is a live video that you guys are going to help me with. Is the volume good on the spooky music? Maybe a little louder, I think. Let me know if the music is good or louder. Maybe a little louder. Sirens, right? Do you hear the sirens? Can't hear anything. I didn't think so. Let's raise it a little bit louder. Louder. Is that better? This is also good to plus let me while you guys are telling me if it's good. Is that really good, huh? That loud? Okay. We got to do this incrementally. Because if it gets too loud, I don't want to drown out the story. We just want background. But this is good. This is a new level that I'm going to achieve for future videos. Good. People are making burgers, enjoying life. I love it. I love it. So yeah, you can hear me clearly because this is we're gonna go deep down the rabbit hole. So on July 2nd, the local time that the people are saying from the person who made this, I think is UK time. Yep. So 12:30 in the morning, AM, GMT -4. 8 hours later, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. Okay, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about all this. So this was the morning that Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. So this Anon says, I am going to leave this world tomorrow, he says, myself. I am also sending 3 packets of copied information to the media. 1 to CNN, 1 to MSNBC, and 1 to Fox News. You all will have to see which one tells the truth about the information they receive and who doesn't. I trust 4chan to do this because of our history of releasing legit info into the face of mass media cover-up. I have been a professional driver / security guard for a circle of very wealthy people for almost 8 years. I started by working the door at a private gentleman's club outside of the DC area. From that job, I was introduced to some employment managers to Jeffrey Epstein. Because I had experience as both a cab driver and a bouncer, as well as always overlooking and keeping my mouth shut about the drugs and prostitution my employers at the club profited from, they thought it'd be a good fit to work the weekends for Mr. Epstein. At first, I didn't do very much, definitely nothing important. I would run errands mostly and do anything my manager, who reported directly to Mr. Epstein, wanted me to do. So say the gardener calls out sick one day. It'd be me mowing the lawn in his place. I was sort of a floating general helper. Inevitably, I ran into Mr. Epstein now and then, and he was always very personable, enthusiastic. I had heard about his original court case and the rumors and everything, but just meeting this guy made me feel like it was all a lie because he seemed so kind and genuine. I thought he really was just this hotshot money man. Like a Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark kind of figure. And I think ultimately that's how he wanted us all to see him. His God complex was to say the least very developed. To say the least very developed. Are you all with me? Oh, God bless. Kit Wilson. I just caught that. He says his son Ezra has been born. God bless. That is awesome. Let's see what you guys are saying. Can you guys get a message to Titus Frost and tell him that my Twitter has been suspended indefinitely? Please, some of you that talk to him. Time to lift to CHN. I like that. Corrid 42. Okay, I'm back at the bottom. Let's continue. Eventually, I was trusted with bigger jobs. I think I got a good reputation because I cleaned one of Mr. Epstein's bedrooms one day. There was, to my disarray, a mixture of crap and semen on the bed sheets. I dealt with it professionally and I didn't say anything. I knew by then that someone is always watching. There are cameras in almost every single room save Mr. Epstein's private office and regular bedroom. He had several bedrooms, but one was his favorite, I guess. His main room. I never mentioned it to anybody, but I still got a thank you from my manager for being discreet. One day I was asked to go pick up a masseuse from a bus station. I didn't ask her age and I knew better, but she couldn't have been older than 16. And girls nowadays, they're like, this guy, he's saying she couldn't have been older than 16. She probably was 12 or 10. It's insane what Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, pop culture, social media, TikTok has done to the youth. Horrible. I got a really bad feeling in my stomach because at this point, denying Mr. Epstein's taste would be borderline irrational. I did my job, though. I took her to his house, and a few hours later, I took her back to the bus stop. She was crying, and I didn't talk to her about it. A few weeks later, I did it again. Now my manager tells me that Mr. Epstein would like me to take over all of his various pickups and drop-offs. They called it Cutie Day. Barf, he says. But it was more than just girls. I would pick up drugs and other assorted packages, most of which I had no idea the contents, but as far as I was concerned, the less I knew, the better. I was getting paid very well for the amount of work I was doing. In a given day, I spent 3, maybe 4 hours doing anything that could be considered work. The rest of the time, I either sat in my car browsing 4chan on my phone or inside pretending like I was rich and this was my house. For this, I was being paid $75,000 a year, more than I'd ever hoped to have made in my whole life. When I took over doing most of the driving, it went up to $115,000 a year. Every time my job became more illegal, the money would get better. That's his tactic. He knows that people will do just about anything for the right price. Okay. So, yeah, I understand what this. Just wanted, I don't know if we're reading this in Japanese manga style, from right to left, or from top to bottom, down, up. How do they format this? No, now I know. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Music getting a little loud. See, thank you. Let's drop it. I bet that's perfect. Well, let me know now, as of this point, Ginger Guy, is the music a little better? I want people to be able to hear this. I'm going to lower it a little bit more. I'd rather be on the side of quieter than louder. Is this good? The music's better? Thank you for watching Central Happenings Network. I'm your host, Bellagio Sampler. We're going deep into this. Story time with a man that worked for Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly. I lost my Twitter account today. It was suspended. Please support my backup channels more than ever. Spread the word. Let people know. Let Twitter know. I feel like one more notch would be safe. I did one more little notch just to keep it on the quieter end. Okay, let's continue. It needs to be a little lower. Yeah, I agree. No cutting into dialogue. That has to be good. That's got to be really good. Yes. Mongolian throat sing. I'm going to learn that now. I think this is better now. Let's do another post, and then let me know if the music's okay. We'll keep going down. Okay, here we go. I just want people to know, I guess, call it a public confession because I'm guilty. I guess I don't care that much because I'm gonna be dead. I've done things I can't forgive myself for, and I think they'll have me killed anyway. I'm going to do it on my terms, he says. Anyway, Mr. Epstein is very shrewd. He pays you a lot, but not enough for the shit you have to do. And he tries to find the absolute least amount he could pay to keep you doing it. For me, disgracefully, that was around $150,000. A year. I stayed on Cutie Day for about 4 months. Then Mr. Epstein took a trip abroad and loaned me out to another family, the Romneys. Famous Mitt Romney. Now keep in mind, I've never met Mitch Romney, and I don't think I even worked for him. I just worked for the family. I reported to an employment manager as usual. I was tasked with driving a young man named Cole around wherever he wanted. Cole was probably 22 and already his license had been suspended for drunk driving. He lived in a huge house out in the middle of nowhere outside Boulder, Colorado. Man, it was beautiful. If I could have stayed there forever, I would have. I suspect it was a vacation mansion owned by his parents, but I digress. Every weekend we would drive into the city, he would get shit-faced drunk, find a woman or prostitute, and I'd take us all back home. Cole was a piece of total crap. If you remember Scumbag Steve, just imagine if Steve's parents were multi-millionaires, if not billionaires, and you get the idea. $150,000 a year for doing 4 hours of work a day. That's the price this guy is. Let's continue. So one Sunday morning after a typical Saturday night, I reported to duty 8 a.m. sharp, knowing damn well that Cole isn't going to drag his ass out of bed until 3 p.m. Here he comes hobbling down the driveway in his socks to my car. He usually texts when he's up, and I come inside and start cleaning up his mess. No text today. He comes over to his car. As I stepped out, he says, hey buddy, we kind of got a problem, but it's not that big of a deal, okay? So I say, okay, what? Let's see it. We go upstairs into the bedroom. His girl from last night is lying face up and her mouth is pooled with vomit. She is most definitely dead. Far as I can tell, she overdosed on whatever combination of prescription drugs they were doing. Passed out, puked, then suffocated on her own vomit. I'm absolutely flipping my shit. And I've got my phone out dialing 911. Cole slaps it out of my hands and tells me to hold on. He says he can't get in trouble because it will look bad on his family. I said, Cole, you've already been getting into trouble. He says he knows, just not this kind of trouble. He says I'll get a big bonus if I just deal with it myself. Now I'm way out here in the middle of nowhere, and the implication from day one of my employment in this circle has been that if I mess up, I might suffer harsh consequences. I know what I did was wrong, I know that, and I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see what you're talking about. This man allegedly worked for Jeffrey Epstein. He leaked on 4chan. We are reading it. Whether it's real or not, it's coming out. All allegedly. Okay, let's take a look. He gives us some coordinates for those out there that want to look on a map. I won't be showing it. Let's see. I asked him what I'm supposed to do. He says just wait. He gets a different phone out of a drawer and starts making calls. This is the network. This is the hidden hand. Mafias use it. Drug dealers use it. Criminals use it. Secret societies use it. We would call this a burner phone, but this is a special phone network that the rich and powerful use. Gets a different phone out of his drawer. How's the music, guys? Sorry to ask again. The music is good volume. Okay. Almost 100 people watching. I have to come back to 9chan, guys. I gotta tell 9chan I've been banned on Twitter. They'll care. 4chan doesn't give a shit. The mods. Guys, it's complete bad. It's bad. Okay? I'm gonna show you guys in a minute what I'm talking about. Let's keep reading this though. I want to keep this conclusive. Okay, so gets a different phone. After a few minutes, I'm waiting in the hallway. He casually pacing around the corpse. He gives me GPS coordinates. 39.982602 by -105.615416. Or a little spot off 111 out in the mountains. I'm supposed to wrap her up, take her there, and drop her off. He said there'd be guys waiting there to take her. It's a long drive. I don't look forward to it one bit. I wrap her up in his comforter. He stops me. Bro, he says. Bro, not that blanket. That's like the softest blanket in the world, dude. No way. And he gets me a blanket from his closet. Real gentleman, Cole was. And someone responds, writing those coordinates down. He's got an F-150 Ford truck at the property used for landscaping work. I put her body in the bed with a tarp on top, and then I fill the rest of the back with landscaping supplies, fertilizers, tools, etc. I tried to make it look really natural and boring. I'm shitting bricks. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. But he's promising me that if I get busted, I'll have the best lawyers money can buy, and I believe him. She's dead already anyway, and it's unlikely he would even get into any real legal trouble. Just bad press, so what's the difference? The whole time driving, I'm just sweating right through my clothes. I have to stop twice to puke. When I get there, there's a little dirt spot you can pull into, and sure enough, there's a big black SUV and a Jeep with off-road tires. I'm not about to just assume these are the body people, so I stop and get out and approach the SUV. The window rolls down and there's a woman who's probably in her 50s and a big guy driving. I don't know what to say, so I'm just kind of like, how's it going? Feeling like a complete idiot. She makes a call and describes me to the person on the phone. Then she puts it down and says, who you're looking for. Is it under all that stuff in the bed of the truck, in the bed? I say, yeah, do you need help? She says, no, take a break. So I walk into the trees a little bit and smoke a cigarette or two. They got her out and put her in the Jeep within about 5 minutes. The woman tells me to drive, wait 15 minutes before I leave, then they pull out and drive away. The Jeep drives further into the woods. I wait up maybe 7 minutes and I leave. I got a text later telling me not to ever leave early again. It was from a blocked number. Again, if you're just joining us now, this is Central Happenings Network. I'm your host, Bellagio Sampler. We're reading stories from a dead man. Allegedly, this guy worked for Jeffrey Epstein. He is spilling all the beans on 4chan. We're going to find out what's going on. We're reading it. Let's continue. Let me see what you guys are saying. My Twitter account was just suspended today. If you follow me on Twitter, make a fuss to Twitter support. Tell them that I did nothing wrong. Please. You want the archive link? Let's see. For continuity. Follow all my backup channels. Follow my BitChute, my Twitch, my DLive. One day you might wake up and our YouTube might be pruned. Remember, people that have federal judges as their mother, like Jake Morphonius, and the whole gang of North Carolina misfits, you know, with the weird swamp people. Ryan Dawson's part of the whole circle. Adam Greenstein's part of the whole circle. These people are allowed on Twitter. Remember, Twitter, the platform of child trafficking, of perverse, horrible behavior. Let's continue. All timestamps are in UK BST format, so if you're reading up here with us, I zoom in one more time so you guys can read it too. I mean, so you're not zoomed in all the way. I think that's probably as close as we can get. Okay, ready? So when I get back to the house, Cole is sitting at the kitchen table eating a massive bowl of Fruit Loops with a big serving spoon, watching Love and hip hop. This man is like a child, and he hasn't even gotten dressed yet. He asked me to wash his blanket and sheets, so I do it. We got really drunk that night, both of them. And Cole tells me this has happened twice before, and it's always fine. He says he's like Scarface and shit. I hate him. The remaining few months go by without incident, and he gets his license back, freeing me at last. Mr. Epstein doesn't need me at this time, but I do get referred as a reliable driver to the big wigs at Def Jam Records, who assigned me to work on Rihanna's crew while she promoted Talk That Talk, at the time her 6th and newest album. We're taking a big turn now. So he goes from working some gentleman's club, getting referred to Epstein, working through like an employment manager kind of, not working directly for Epstein, but under is a middleman, someone like a manager, you know. Now he's passed over to Cole Romney, allegedly a member of the Romney family. I don't know who he is. Maybe you guys could find him. And after cleaning up a mess of Cole's drunken debauchery, now he gets referred over to Def Jam Records. Are you seeing a pattern here? Almost like the mafia, like we're watching The Sopranos or something. We're looking at it from the perspective of a driver, of one of the working men. But this is an organization that passes employees from business to business, people to people. Def Jam Records now. So our Anon here, Epstein Anon, I guess we'll call him. I never met Miss Rihanna in person, just in passing now and then, but I found this job to agree with me a lot better than the others. I drove a van stacked with promotional gear from city to city while she toured. A few times I was sent to pick up Molly and was taught to use test strips to test for purity. If it was not pure, I was supposed to walk away. But if it was pure, but it was always pure, he said. I read that wrong. There are circles within circles of connections. I believe there is an entire shadow economy strictly for the rich and famous to get their rocks off collectively. There is. Let me tell you, here's an inserted story from Bellagio Sampler when I used to work in Hollywood. Hollywood has its own personal doctor. I'm not going to say his name. Maybe I'll do a future video of it. This doctor will just say Dr. Ben or something, you know, funny. If you need any drug for any situation, this doctor will sign you a prescription for it. Whether you are Rihanna or you are a truck driver. This man's purpose is to keep Hollywood's wheels greased. That means you're working 18-hour days, your grip truck driver is, you know, dragging ass. We're going to get him a prescription of legal methamphetamine, or, you know what I'm saying? Everything you can imagine. When I got a back injury a long time ago, I didn't have to go see he is a real doctor, but he's a doctor for the stars. Pretty interesting. So there is a whole shadow economy behind the scenes. Circles within circles of connections. One thing I did learn about Rihanna, we're going back to his story now. One thing I did learn about Rihanna, Dr. Shapiro, exactly, yes. One thing I did learn about Rihanna is that she enjoys young females as well. I was sent to pick up 2 young girls and bring them to her hotel room. Of course, I was met outside the door by someone more important than me. This struck me as odd because as far as I understand, Rihanna is not a billionaire like Epstein, but she was even more insulated and protected than he was. I'll explain that in a minute. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with just personal choices regarding security, but I get the picture that in this world, influence and money both equal power, and Rihanna, especially in 2011, 2012, was highly influential. All I had to do was mention her name and girls would get in the car just like that. And now he says he's taking a cigarette break. My nerves are shot. I keep thinking I hear cars pulling up. I'm getting real paranoid. Give me a couple minutes. Let's see what you guys are saying. 109 people. Really awesome. Happy you guys are here. It's been a tough day for me. I lost my Twitter. These sick freaks, Jack at Twitter, they're all out to get us. Because we're Christian. Because we expose the enemy. Because we look at all the different factions in this faction war. Did you know there's 12 tribes of Israel? gee, they're not all, you know, on the seeing eye to eye exactly. You got Adam Green that works for the Tribe of Dan. You got Ben Shapiro that works for the Ben Fichtenstein camp. No, I have no idea. I'm just making shit up. But you get what I'm saying. So when you have groups of people that are just one-trick ponying it and not giving you the nuances, that is what they want. They want everyone to be robotic, AI-driven, social media-driven NPCs, not looking at the nuances of anything. So what was I gonna explain to you? So yes, Rihanna at this time, these people are products and items of the industry. Rihanna makes the industry huge amounts of money and being hugely influential on social media. Rihanna in 2011 was more important than the Pope, or as important as the Pope. More security than the Pope. Pretty crazy, right? Romney Cole, I ain't clicking that link. No, I'm just joking. I don't have a Twitter, so if I click on it, it's gonna jerk me around. When they suspend your Twitter, they freeze frame it. So, you know, I have news from this morning just stuck. So, Rihanna is as important as the Pope. These figures, these stars like Ellen DeGeneres and all these whack jobs, you know, they are more valuable than the Pope to these people. Okay, so he's back from his cigarette break. We're not taking a cigarette break. I'm happy you guys are enjoying this. Please subscribe to the channel and please be proactive about checking for videos. I am good for uploading 2 to 3 streams per week. So if you haven't checked my channel out in a week, come check it out. There'll be more streams on it. 2 to 3 videos or streams per week I'm good for. I'm trying to get better at doing more. And yes, it's up to you guys now to follow my backup channels. They're out for blood. Huge censorship today all around the board. So here we go. He's back. The glowy derail is to saying nice try. So I'm trying to figure out glowy derail. One. Oh, he's responding to 2331. I don't even know why I'm saying 23. It's 0331. I'm so autistic. So the most noteworthy thing, we're going to go back into what he's saying. While working for Def Jam Records, smash that like button. Comment on the video when it's done. It helps YouTube send you my videos automatically. Make sure you are giving it a thumbs up. Okay, here we go. So the most noteworthy thing that happened while working for Def Jam is when Rihanna had a party to celebrate the end of her tour. Everybody was there. I mean, all the pop stars were there. The Jonas Brothers, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, and even a few old heads like Elton John and some actors. I noticed John Travolta for sure, Seth Rogen, Emma Stone, Bradley Cooper, to name a few. For this party, I was, of course, tasked with getting entertainment. They wanted as young as I could get, and he quoted, and as many as I could get. That's quoted. Ostensibly, a word that I never use and probably will never use again, ostensibly they were being hired to be waitstaff, valet drivers, etc. But the plan is to switch it up on them when they actually get there, give them drugs, money, whatever they need to do what they wanted them to do, which was essentially to be all expenses paid prostitutes or whoever wanted them. That part, thankfully, was not my job. I'm just a piece of crap who tricked them into going. I picked up 5 young girls from the mall, a couple of teenage boys I found walking along the road, and then I got a hold of an escort company to fill it out and make an even dozen. The ones from the escort company were not underage, and I was severely chastised for it. My manager basically asked if I ever wanted to work again. I said yes. He said, then act like you've got some goddamn sense. I didn't make this mistake again ever. After the tour ended, I was just on my own for a month or so. I rented a house near Tulsa and basically isolated the entire time. I was starting to get ideas in my head about going to trade school and something when I was called back to work for Mr. Epstein again. At this point, I developed a bad coke habit. of which I have only been sober a few months to this day. I needed something to make me do it. Coke makes you feel numb in a way not much else does, and believe me, I've tried just about everything. There are research chemicals no one has ever heard of that get traded around in these circles. So these elite circles get research chemicals no one's even heard of. When I came back to work for Mr. Epstein on his island, I was going through an 8-ball every day or two. I binge drank at night, but I had to keep focused during the day. The coke wired me up and the liquor brought me back down. That's the only way mentally I could really cope with what is happening. I was flown to his now infamous island to be one of the regular staff. Essentially, I lived on this island for free, while getting paid to maintain the grounds and keep the buildings up. When Mr. Epstein was there, obviously, he would bring his own entertainment, so I didn't even have to do that. I thought, this sounds like a fantastic deal. Island paradise, great wages, not much real work, count me in. Out of all my sins, I believe sloth is the most damaging one I indulge in. I always look for the easy dollar, and that's why I am prey for people like this. Now, first of all, this island is like paradise on earth. It is always comfortable temperature. The rains are breathtakingly beautiful, and the architecture and decor of the house are exquisite. The houses. Yes, the bathhouse is really creepy. The fake doors are there to confuse fly-by surveillance. If anyone was wondering, the other regular staff were hard to get along with. They were all creeps, and I mean capital C freaking creeps. Made me wonder about myself, honestly, that I'm put here with them. They all joked about getting Mr. Epstein's leftovers, and the talk was constantly about when Mr. Epstein was going to visit the island again. When he would bring more important people, world leaders, CEOs, etc., I and most of the staff were kept totally out of sight. We weren't allowed to work in an area unless we knew it was empty. Only his most trusted employees could actually be in the building with him and high-powered friends. Sometimes, though, it would just be family and things were more relaxed. I passed by his office once carrying some garbage when he beckoned me inside. He asked me my name and I told him. He offered me a seat. I took it. You don't get far in this business saying no. He began to talk to me. He looked really stressed. He asked me how anything that feels good could be bad. He had a big painting of Oscar Wilde and considered him a personal hero. He began to explain hedonism to me and asked me if I understood. Of course, I said. Who doesn't like fun? Lots of people, he said. Lots of people. Then he let me go about my duties. I screwed up really bad one evening and entered one of the maintenance sheds to return some tools I'd been using and saw the sweaty, pale back of a large man, hunched over and thrusting. He had a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back, and he was wearing a bull's head mask. He was screwing one of the regular staff members' mouth. He turned to me. I'm just standing in shock, and he says quite angrily, "Do you mind?" And I slammed the door shut. As I'm closing the door, I get a glimpse of my coworker's face, and he is crying. So it was a little homoerotic encounter. I googled Nixon back tattoo later and realized that man was Roger Stone, who I never even heard of up until that point. I knew I was in deep stuff. The next day and for 2 weeks after I've gotten all the worst jobs, trash pickup, cleaning toilets, scrubbing his boat, it sucked, but I kept my mouth shut anyway. As far as I understood, my pay had not been cut, so whatever. I'll do the shitty jobs where I'm by myself because at least, hey, I'm by myself. That was fine. Let's see. I think they have a... Here's a picture of Roger Stone. Very small. You can look it up yourself. Roger Stone Nixon tattoo. Now, I'm sure other people have a Richard Nixon tattoo, but he is the most famous person with a Richard Nixon tattoo. Very interesting that this connects both aisles, both sides. It connects Hollywood, music, government, military, world leaders, religion, mystery schools, the elite, secret societies. But who's going to tell you this? Adam Green? Adam Green, all he does, he just talks about one thing all day. Oh, the paint on the wall is white. The paint on the wall is white. We get it. We get it. We get it. Calm down. A little nuance might help. What faction are you talking about, Adam? Blink 7 times if they have a gun to your head, or are you just a sellout? Remember, these people have platforms. They're not deplatformed. They're not kicked off Twitter. We have to ask questions someday about that. And we don't even know the implications of social media, of living a parasocial lifestyle, of isolating ourselves, now legally isolating ourselves with this quarantine, with the government telling us to hide in our homes, lose our jobs. This is going to psychologically damage society for years to come. The incels are nothing in comparison to what's coming. So this guy's saying, OP, if this isn't a LARP, then I have to tell you I wish you the best. And honestly, you did a lot of bad stuff, and I hope you recover since you seem like a good guy. If you are LARPing, then nice job since I'm entertained, and this is a good LARP. Okay, now we're going to keep reading, guys. We're almost to part 2, I think. There's a part 2. Story time with a dead man. Welcome to the show, Central Happenings Network. I'm your host, Bellagio Sampler. Thank you guys, 123 people hanging out. This is awesome. Makes you guys are cheering me up. Spread the word. Mass bannings today. Pastor Anderson, E. Michael Jones, Bellagio Sampler's Twitter account. Memory hold has been demonetized on YouTube, and it's only the beginning. God forbid they do anything worse. These people are sick control freaks. The AI is already in existence. They worship the artificial intelligence, and we have to keep fighting it. That's what the meaning of my new intro video is. We are always being hunted by the Terminator. We are always being hunted by the AI. We must never give up. We must always fight them. This was on X Paranormal, then it went to poll. Now people are talking about it in chat rooms around the internet, in IRC channels, in coffee shops around the world, spy cafes. Let's continue. He's responding to this gentleman and saying, I think the music just got a little loud again, but let me know. I'm going to start reading. Let me know if it's too loud. I'm not a good guy, but thank you. If this was the movies, The Punisher, or whoever would rip my spine out of my back, and I deserve it. I'm not a good guy, he says. Anyway, things started getting really tense on the island from that point. People started making little comments to me about being nosy or about minding my own business. I was starting to get worried I would be branded as a troublemaker, which you do not want to be. Things turn very quickly in this business. Sorry, I want to lower the music in my ears a little bit. Things turn very quickly in this business. Whoops, you son of a... Okay. They turn quickly in this business like a damn fortune. Click gone wrong. And trying to see where I was. That's how they've kept it a lid on it for so long. Any mistake you make and you're out. Most people are let go with NDAs and the understanding that they will be watched the rest of their lives, which ultimately is how I got out as well. After Epstein died, they cut me loose. I guess they figure since he's dead, nothing I know would matter anyway. They're probably right, honestly. They're probably right, honestly. It probably won't matter anyway, but the rest of my time on that island was pure terror. I was just waiting to be taken away, or worse. Never happened, but I was still really scared. I saw a few of their weird plays they would do around the bathhouse. Mr. Epstein had a little portable stage. He would get set up. He would wear the bull head I saw Stone wearing and give a big speech about what he called freedom. He would say this island is the only free place in the whole world where everyone on it can do whatever they want. Bullshit. Not your employees, not the children you bring here. Total bullcrap. Everyone would cheer. They'd get up and do a sort of conga line with tiki torches. Really cringy old rich people shit. And go into the bathhouse. There is a trap door on the floor that has not been reported in any of the investigation photos. I'm adding to this. It hasn't been reported by that white guy that talks like he's black from what is this? You know who I'm talking about. You know. He went to the island with that muscle build there. I can't even think of his name now. He's a white guy that thinks he's black. He's been an info warrior for a long time. But I think he's a complete, just paid shill that is paid to look at certain things and only certain things. Not keep your head on a swivel like CHN. Report on what you're told to report on by what you're given. And shut up and sit down. What's his name, guys? You know who I'm talking about. Jimmy Fallon. No. Not Jimmy Fallon. Gary Owen. Luke Radowski. Luke Radowski. Superflu unlocked the pill in my mind with Loke. Luke Radowski, guys. Come on, like, talk about paying someone to do, I'll give you $100,000. Just report on nonsense. Go fly around the country. Make a video here or there. Go fly to Epstein Island. Don't do anything. No change. Don't expose shit. Come on, guys. I'm getting so sick of these e-celebs. Ugh. I know you guys are starting to see through it also. We are change. Yeah, exactly. We are change. Yeah. You haven't changed anything in 10 years. You're reading off the same script. It's another Adam Green, just a different faction. Change your game up a little bit. So the weird plays, okay? Everyone would cheer. They do a conga line. Trapdoor that no one, as any investigative photos, looked at this trapdoor. I've seen which led to what they call the chamber. This is what Sapo drew and has given us through channeling artistically in the video game Escape from Epstein Island. Part 2 is coming out very soon, and you can explore the chamber. It is essentially a bondage dungeon. I don't know what all happened in there, and I never want to know. I stayed far away from the bathhouse as I could. Okay. So he's responding to someone asking about Roger Stone. And he said, I mean, large as in wide. He is a brick of a man, pick related. In the supply shed, he was taking up basically the entire doorway. So anyway, eventually I got my reputation for the most part back in good graces. And I was working in the main house again. One time I was helping in the kitchen. I don't know if the chef was fucking with me. I hope so, but he was separating what looked to me like the torso of a very young skinned pig. He had been roasted and he was chopping it into quarters, the ribs to be served that evening and the rest broken down for soups and casseroles. I said jokingly that it looked like a little kid. He just gave me this awful dead-eyed look for a second and said, watch it. Like, watch your mouth. I worked on that island for about a year. In 2013 to 2014, Mr. Epstein chose me and 2 other trusted employees on the island to come with him to a winter retreat in the Swiss Alps. Is Meow Meow in the house? Where's Meow Meow? Before I got banned on Twitter, he disappeared on Twitter. Susan Donahue is saying, famous for nothing when it's shocked that Kobe's chopper crashed behind the Kardashian house. Nothing suspicious there. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go up and read a little bit what you guys are saying. That game is great. Yep, it was really good. Really awesome. Somebody made it. Like, think about that. Not EA, not Konami, not Kojima. One of you made it, created it, pixel by pixel, script by script, music by music. People got together, made it. I think it's beautiful. That's hilarious. All mouse lives matter. Let's keep reading. Ready? So he worked there 2013, 2014. He chose me and 2 others to go to his retreat in the Swiss Alps. Say retreat in the Swiss Alps 5 times fast while you're at home. Retreat in the Swiss Alps. Retreat in the Swiss Alps. It's pretty hard. He owned a small billionaire, small mind you. He owned a small cabin, again mansion, there and wanted people he knew he could trust because most of the staff would be local hires. Our job on the surface was to help manage all the employees, like supervisors basically. But the unspoken task would be keeping everyone in the dark or quiet. Mr. Epstein had a real fondness for plump, young Swiss blondes. And the Swiss, as he would explain, have a very progressive idea regarding age of consent. He viewed this as a more relaxed way to do what he does, more casual. Part of the thrill of these people, I think, is in the fact that it is illegal and they could get into big trouble. It's also a power trip. They're doing something illegal. They're allowed to do it. They get away with it by bribery, by blackmail, by being allowed in these secret societies, by worshiping Satan. When they go to places that are more friendly with the idea of an older man having sex with 15-year-olds, it's to take a break, so to speak. The Swiss Alps themselves, wow, I mean wow. I've been all over the US and nothing in this country compares to Europe in terms of sheer beauty. It's a different kind of beauty. The Blue Mountains, the Rockies, Sierra Nevadas, you know, Mount Shasta. But yeah, Europe is beautiful. Sometimes early in the morning when I'd come out of my cabin and stretch, looking at the trees, smelling the crisp, clean air, just for a minute I'd forget what I've done and what I'm doing. When it came back to me, I'd have to fight back tears. I want the mountains there to be the last thing I think about before I pass. Sorry, I'm taking a break to peek out my windows like a crackhead. I might actually bail and go find open Wi-Fi somewhere. Maybe in another state. I don't know. I'm getting more and more paranoid. My lights flickered and I almost shit myself. I think I might get back on the wagon just for tonight and go get some liquor. Be a little patient with me. So let's keep going deeper into this rabbit hole. Deeper and deeper we go. Part 2 of 2. Here's the thread number for you to find it in the archives. Story time with a dead man. It might be in the X, which is paranormal. It might be on Poll from 4chan, which is they completely sold out. Sad to think about, but we are in total warfare. Not only with the devil, not only with censorship, big tech, AI, billion-dollar budgets. We're at war with a spiritual enemy that operates in this story that I'm reading you. We're reading a perspective of this spiritual enemy that made this man, this weak individual, unfortunately, sell his soul for $150,000 a year. But money is a very powerful tool. Some people can be purchased. Some people have a price on their head. Some people don't. That's where I come in. There is no price on my head. You can't pay me to betray God. Ooh, that'd be awesome. Sid Kalick. Come live. Yeah, I might have to take you up on that offer. That'd be awesome. The year of the rat, yep. We have a little bit more than end of story. 2 more posts. OP's final confirmed 8 hours later. Ghislaine Guillaume Maxwell has been arrested. So I've not been there for 3 days up in the Swiss Alps, right? So I've not been there 3 days when, while me and the 2 from the island are doing bumps of powder, white powder, off a butter knife in the lower garage in Switzerland, a boy maybe 14, skinny, blonde, pale, and naked, comes through the doorway right towards us. He's speaking French, but I think I got the gist of what he was saying. He was asking for help. He looked hysterical. Immediately, my 2 friends were out of there, and I shouldn't have been far behind. I told him, calm down, it's okay. I'm going to help you. I just want him to feel better. This all took maybe 30 seconds before one of the nannies came in. He looked at her. The boy, 14-year-old boy, looked at the nanny, confused, and I get the picture. He was trying to decide if she could be trusted. She couldn't. She shushed him and put her jacket over him and took his hand. She was speaking French as well, and it sounded like a mother consoling a frightened child. She led him back into the house. I did not see him again. I never mentioned it to anyone, and no one ever mentioned it to me. During my last couple of weeks, there I witnessed firsthand the murder of an independent journalist. I don't think he was actually a journalist. I think he had maybe a blog or a YouTube channel, but I never heard of him, and I don't know his name, so I don't think he was anyone with any real connections. He was one of the local hires, a dishwasher. But he was seen with a cell phone out, possibly recording. Me and the other 2 from the island were asked to go check it out. So we go get the guy and asked him to empty out his pockets. Sure enough, he has a phone. We told him to unlock it and he wouldn't. One of the other guys made a call, came back, and slugged him directly in the nose. I think he broke his nose because there was blood just pouring out and the guy started screaming. I don't think he had ever been hit before, but me and the other guy held him down. Fuck it, I'll say their names. It was Daniel Robinson from South Florida and Marcus Harper from Nevada. Marcus and I were holding him down, and Daniel punched him again and told him to unlock his phone. He complied this time, and sure enough, there were pictures and videos from inside the house. We knew he hadn't sent anything out because only wired connections worked in this house. I guess they had signal jammers or something. Or maybe because he was just so remote. I don't know. Anyway, Daniel makes another call and tells us to take him outside into the woods. I think we're just going to threaten him and make him sign an NDA, but Daniel took his belt off and strangled him to death. We had to put his body up in an outbuilding because the ground was frozen. We put him through a wood chipper and then burned everything to ash. There were bits of charred bone left over when I swept it all into the trash bag and threw it out with the regular trash. This above anything else I feel the most guilty for. During my last couple, let's see what you guys are saying. You have a blue moon in your eye? During my last couple of weeks there, I witnessed firsthand well, I already read that. After that, if I wasn't in before, I was definitely in now. Me, Marcus, and Daniel, the 3 effing stooges from hell. Daniel had been in the military, and I think he had a few screws loose because he always had a temper. He became the go-to guy for the really dirty stuff. I started working for Mr. Epstein directly after this. He would confide in me sometimes when he was very high and how about nothing really makes him feel good enough. He told me once that he hasn't felt happy in years. These people are devoid of happiness. They sold their souls. I wish I had the stones to tell him that this life he is living is only bringing him down. For a brief moment, I felt empathy for this man. I think that too was part of his game though. I don't think he has ever had a single genuine feeling in his life outside of sexual gratitude. He never mentioned the journalist to me. It was like it never happened, but we both knew that was the reason I was now working directly for him. Listen, I think I've said about all I care to right now. I'm going to go get a bottle of something before all the stores closed. If this thread is still here in a few hours, I'll answer questions and tell some more stories. End of story, only 2 more posts. Let's look over here and see. I don't know if this is the island. It looks like the island here. Some occultic bunker shit, right? Ever see a cousin in robes, pentagram rituals, stuff like that? Okay, so someone asked him about that. Well, let's wait for that question. He goes, all right, boys, I'm back. I'm also... Uh-oh. Let's rewind. We can't... Is the stream still here? We're all good? Good. We have some possibly scuffed music. Damn You Fallout 1 and 2 soundtrack. He was mentioned how he was hired. You're going to go to the beginning of the video once it's uploaded. I'm recording it. I will upload it to BitChute also. They won't be taking this one down. He's back. He's also on his way to be really mean drunk. Ask me questions. I don't know anything about a secret phone. That sounds like something above my pay grade. How do I make encrypted messages files, he's asking. But someone asked him about... I don't know how this goes, the way they can... But let's read it like this. So Anon is asking, ever see occultic stuff? And he goes... They called them plays and theater, but from my eyes, yeah. I would say the speeches and stuff I saw looked like a lot like rituals. The bull's head mask was scary. I mean, it was a rubber mask for sure, but whoever spoke would wear it all night. After they would come up out of the chamber, the masked person would roam the island all night. It was generally understood that you are to avoid them at all costs. When they wear the mask, they're like animals. They wander around from one carnal satisfaction to the next. Food, sex, sometimes violence, drugs, whatever. And they could do whatever they want. If they came to you and told you to suck their you-know-what, or whatever, you'd have to do it. It never happened to me, thankfully, but I made sure on those nights to stay out of sight. And this guy's saying, my question here about the shadow economy. Another, did you feel Epstein was retarded in some way? I'm intrigued on how you described his crisis of how can someone that feels good be wrong. Elaborate on that. Yada, also interested to hear more about the weird drugs. And he said, I don't think he was retarded at all. He was whip smart. I just don't think he had any emotional intelligence, maybe. I think he was hollow inside for the most part. And that brings us to the end of our reading. You're going to have to go to the beginning of the video to see the beginning, but man, fascinating. I don't do any type of auditioning, script writing. I barely take any notes in digital format. I don't prep for any of these shows. And I didn't read this story. I read like 2 posts. My happenings radar went off the charts. I knew I had to do a video on it. That's what I knew had to happen. And these Anons thought it was interesting too. A lot of you are here tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're not leaving yet. We have a couple more news articles to talk about relating to all this stuff. But I want to know what you think. Is it an elaborate LARP? Was it an entertaining story? That guy, man, I think it was real. What's going on? Super Blue sent to PayPal? Must be something else. Because I did not receive. I have to go up and scroll up and chat and see what you guys are talking about. I am out of context. Very fascinating. I think it's real, guys. Yeah, I do think it was real. The writing style That would be years of write, like a professional writer, you know, went on 4chan, wrote this story up. Too many real instances, the writing style. You think it's authentic? Janae Tessier thinks. Knee plus Ultra says Trump has rubbed elbows with these people, makes you wonder, eh? Boots O'Reilly thinks it's real. Very well written. Very well written. Man, up in Colorado, right? That story when he was talking about Cole Romney burying a body. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Back down. Superfly is replied to. Very cool. Roger Stone in and how convenient. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Joey Shabudu thinks that's odd. Listen. This world, truth is stranger than fiction. Roger Stone, you could take two different scenarios here. The scenario one, if you're a pro Roger Stoner, the enemy has body doubles. The enemy also likes false flag operations. They do it with events, they do it with people. So if they can implicate someone, they will. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have a hedonistic individual that is very pro-sexual, sexuality, all this stuff. He is a political operative that helped Trump get elected. And I don't put it past anybody in politics, government, that this goes beyond. I really don't. Now, Leah, Joe Biden has islands down there we read about, right? We can go down. Some Anons are talking about it. Look, don't worry, guys. Police are on the case, right? And they're talking about the symbolism in this. According to the FBI, CIA, pedophile symbolism, the triangle is one of them. Now, take it, this is backwards. The symbolism is very particular. This is the exact same symbol, but it is mirrored. But very odd, right? That the police that are tasked time after time protecting these evil people, right? Pretty crazy. In this, we're going to read an Epstein blind item from the club. Okay? From Crazy Days and Nights, blind items reveal number 37. This is old, but I don't remember Paul discussing it at the time. The quick rundown is member of some kind of club discusses the property set up on Epstein Street, among other things. Leslie Wexner sold Epstein the house and lives next door. Bill Cosby lived across the street from them. Robert Miller lived next to Cosby. He has a family connection to Barry Diller from Fox, who is apparently just as bad as Epstein and uses his yacht as an equivalent to Epstein Island. This being the Barry Diller in the article. Diller has put Chelsea Clinton on 2 of his boards. Blind item also mentions Epstein at a party with Bill Clinton. The person telling the story was surprised that the item teller wasn't aware of why Epstein and Clinton would be in the same place together. In short, this is much larger network than people can ever imagine. These people literally live next door to each other. And in all likelihood, a lot of people in New York City know about them, but similar to the Jimmy Savile case, either don't want to get their careers screwed or don't have actual proof. Ghislaine and Andrew, Prince Andrew, also mentioned but don't really feature in this one. Pretty crazy. Crazy Days and Nights is a website where stories are leaked from the rich, the famous, elite. Okay? This. And I have a question for you guys. Just say Rorschach or Manhattan. Here's the question. Are you Rorschach or Manhattan? You obtain all the Epstein videos and blackmail evidence. You're mailed it tomorrow. What do? You do what Rorschach would do? Reveal everything. Many elites are simultaneously and suddenly outed in a traumatically compromising situations. High risk of chaos. Or Dr. Manhattan, you withhold. Evidence is kept hidden from society for their own perceived good. Ignorance is bliss. Low risk of chaos. Well, you know what I would do. I would Rorschach it and reveal it to the world. But there are people out there in government, in society, maybe in the NYPD, that have the Anthony Weiner evidence, that think it's not good to release this to the world and tell the world that Jay-Z and Beyonce kill kids, allegedly, that Elton John rapes young men, young boys, allegedly, that Harvey Weinstein slips his fat, greasy fingers up young women's casting couch style dress, amongst many, many other things. John of God, connected to Oprah, connected to these very people. It's one giant network. One giant evil network. Jean Tessier would pull a Dr. Manhattan and keep it safe from the world. Maybe people aren't privy, privy enough, ready enough to hear the full truth and nothing but the truth. I don't know. Too shocking for the salt of the earth. Oh man. Man. The people are very interesting. Now that's why I'm reading your comments. Very interesting on both sides of the table. Let's keep going. Francesca Habsburg mentioned in Jeffrey Epstein's books, monarchs and merchants are the real evil people. We all know about the Habsburg family, the Schiffs, the Spielbergs, the Steins, the Greens. Royalty, people, royalty. We'll look at that last. E. Michael Jones, his whole YouTube has just been terminated. A lot of people today terminated. Pastor Anderson, memory holes been demonetized. So interesting that it all happens on the same day, isn't it? It's almost like they have board meetings about us. They want to shut us down. And I don't like E. Michael Jones, but he is bringing people to Catholicism, which is better than bringing people to Kafir Muslim or, Bedouin Buddhism, split Buddhism, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, in his own way, they're censoring people for a reason. Pastor Anderson, I like a lot. They censored him. Ghislaine Maxwell was screaming and crying in court. Virginia Roberts reveals. During her first court appearance after being arrested by the FBI last week, child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's accused pimp, Ghislaine Maxwell, was reportedly screaming and crying when she faced a judge, according to victim Virginia Roberts. Very interesting, huh? Looking. Happenings happening all at once. I don't have a Twitter anymore, guys. They censored me today, huge. Help, spread the word, spread these videos, subscribe to all my backup channels. BitChute, DLive, DTube, my Twitch. Make a Twitch now, guys. It's my longest lasting channel. Get on Twitch. There might be a day where YouTube is done. We're not here anymore. And then I thought this was interesting. Separate note, but it's all related, guys. All the happenings connect. Airbnb will use users' pics and names to fight discrimination. You have to opt out before August 31st if you don't want to have your name and likeness used for propaganda. So this goes into the whole AI algorithm and just dissolving of all your privacy completely. Open this up in another window first before we go to it. Might be a prank. Let's see. What the hell? There you go. You son of a... There you are. Let's listen to this real quick. Music is going off.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous to all those who are resisting the New World Order. To avert the final crisis of capitalism, the criminal ruling class has engineered the virus and the riots. Next, they will stage a revolution to contest the results of the U.S. presidential elections. Their plans for a new world order have been exposed in Greatland, the movie that was blacklisted by Hollywood. Many of you helped us to spread the message from Greatland whistleblower Savannah Clybourne. Sadly, Savannah paid the ultimate price for revealing the truth. The person who harmed Savannah was caught on camera, but later doctored out of her videos. His crimes won't go unpunished. We will avenge Savannah and expose the secret operation to hide Greatland from the public. The New World Order shall not pass. We are Legion. Expect us.
Pretty crazy. People get murdered in this business for exposing information. My Twitter account was murdered because I exposed a BBC article that was leaked early about Ghislaine Maxwell having coronavirus. Forever lost in history now. But the post, like earlier in the show, I showed you Finland Anon. He posted my tweet. He was worried something would happen. And it did. So, will I make another Twitter? Well, maybe with next month's Patreon, we make $38 a month. I will buy a new track phone to use to make a new Twitter. Greatland is supposed to be a movie, I guess, that Hollywood blacklisted. So we're going to find out. Anonymous claims his film Greatland was blacklisted, and a whistleblower called Savannah Clybourne is a victim of Epstein herself, has been murdered. Other videos on the account are from Savannah, and she looks like an MK Ultra victim, but it all could be fake. The Anon ran it down for us quickly. So, we had a good, entertaining episode. 125 people, roughly. Thank you all. Black Eagle, how are you? I'll be on Gab more now. Teach me how to use Gab. Are there private messages on Gab? I don't know. Somebody get the message to Titus Frost. Posted on his channel that my Twitter has been banned. I want to contact him somehow. Maybe on Discord, I'm not sure. But you have to understand the connections. Don't let the shills tell you that Pizzagate is fake. Right now, there's an organized effort that 4chan is allowing to let the bots and shills get away with murder. They are murdering good information and red pills. Remember that Scalise was a big anti-trafficking proponent. He was shot during a baseball game, and pizza was sent to his office. It all starts there, guys. Then we go into Seth Rich and all these people like Kate Spade, people that were suicided. The rabbit hole is deep, wide, and endless, and it all connects to circles within circles, connections within connections. And it's just like the mafia. Unless you're paying money, then you can't have a Twitter. You can't have a Facebook. You can't have social media. You can't have a YouTube account. You're not allowed to grow big. You're not allowed to, you have to keep starting the game over. over and over and over again. Level 0 to 100. 4,000. I had 9,000 subs on my first channel. That was deleted. Now we have 4,050 subscribers. Thank you all for helping me break the 4,000 mark. We had 1,000 followers on Twitter. It's just countless casualties of this war. But we're never going to give up. We're never going to surrender. We'll keep doing it. You guys are going to keep watching. You guys are going to keep spreading the videos, keep spreading the streams, my websites, my links. If I make a new Twitter, you're going to help me spread that. We're going to, I don't know. I'm a little done with Twitter at the moment. If you are a admitted recreational meth addict, the world loves you and your name is John McAfee. If you're a man of God that exposes every faction, every enemy, and motivate people, bring them back to God, bring them to self-sovereignty and motivation, they want you dead. They want you not to be online. They want you to be demotivated and shut down. Well, they're never going to shut us down. They're never going to keep us down, guys. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep on fighting. Let's get the intro video on. We're going to end this channel, this stream. We're not ending any channel. We are going to end this video today. Keep it concise so people can listen to the story. We're not going to cover too much stuff. If anyone ends this channel, it's the enemy. It is Satan. It's the world. It's mankind. Don't follow them. You guys need to make your own channels. And if you guys don't have any content to make, you have to copy my videos, upload them to your channel, make us like Owen Benjamin has. He has people making clip channels, all his clips. I need someone out there to do that for me. I reached out to Triple P. He did not answer me back. So we'll see. That'd be awesome. I'm always down to collaborate. So we are going to be ending this stream, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you all for watching. This has been amazing. Please support me by sharing the videos, by joining Patreon if you're a rich Anon out there. PayPal is even great. But the best you could do is help us stay online. Now I need $30 to get a track phone. I will do that next Patreon. To make a new Twitter, guys. Unbelievable. I'm really thinking about making a Discord more than ever to stay in touch with you guys. Because Twitter got us, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe Black Eagle wants to be our Discord guy. I don't know. We'll see. Email me. Let's chat. Peace out, guys. Thank you very much for watching.